got something to say now.
I gave my whole face for to get better from here. Even just for a little bit. From the massive improvement of Hawkeye. It really didn't. It didn't recover. I am just really wanting them to save themselves. I guess we can only focus on what we have. I can't even say.
Because the past is the past.
The future isn't looking good.
So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
I don't care.
Let's just focus on Hawkeye. Standing out from the rest of the face. From now on, enjoy and listen.
Wallowing in it would be such a waste. That isn't gonna fix it.
You're a Hawkeye.
Who the hell are you?
We start things from where we left out in the last episode. Clint saving Kate and pull her into an alley.
Kate Bishop.
You're a kid.
The two reactions, that matches both of their characters. Clint asks her how did she get the suit, but she can't respond because of shock in the moment. Then Clint hears the police siren coming closer, asking does she live near this location. After asking is she alright, matching what we know about Clint. When she said yes, he brings her out of here. One thing to note,
So I saw a dead body
This way.
back there, which
Don't worry
comes up
about it. We'll
first.
talk about it when you get there.
the impact of seeing a dead body is still there, at least to a degree, and only able to bring it up when there's a moment of calm. Knowing to an extent what she should be doing in a given situation. But Clint, the much more experienced Avenger, understands it is still not the time, as she is not completely safe yet. Concerning about her safety, especially she's still in shock, knows to bring it up only when she's absolutely safe. These few lines alone brings up the characterization and abilities very well. Off to a pretty good start.
Did you learn to fight like that?
I started taking martial arts when I was 5.
Wow. So like a year ago?
That is used to hammer home the other Clint is the superior one, with the use of ADR.
Wow. So like a year ago? A year ago?
Despite Kate has, let me check,
I started taking martial arts when I was 5.
I'm 22.
17 years of training. Still not good enough for him. Staying consistent with episode 1. Clint is looking around in case of being followed, with Kate asking about it energetically. Consistent with their characters, one being a Hawkeye fan, another being a well-trained SHIELD agent, then we get these.
You know, some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
I know this dialogue made a lot of people angry and sad, given the political climax today, and some other MCU movies beforehand, being another MCU girl boss dialogue, and that is the same dialogue appear in the trailer.
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Seems like it, but only if you took that line alone. Please listen to the entire context.
You know, some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Yeah. Are you one of those people?
Well, one of them is, yes.
That is Kate doing it to impress Clint, with him calling her lie.
Well, one of them is, yes.
It makes sense for a Hawkeye fangirl who saw her idol for the first time, comboing with her fearless and energetic attitude. Actually a neat character moment for Kate, even shown in the trailer.
Are you one of those people?
Just to impress Clint.
I know I was a little overwhelmed out there, but I really held my own with those same douchebags.
Side note, I can actually believe Haley can do that.
Physically, she is incredible. Before I came out to shoot, I was training in LA on the stunt side of things with my dad, who's a personal trainer. The best in the game, if I do say so myself.
When we worked together before, I had no idea your dad was a personal trainer, and then I saw a picture, and I was like, what?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so do y'all work out all the time?
We do, yeah.
Look at that!
Like I knew that the minute I showed up on set, I wanted to be able to have anything and everything thrown at me and be absolutely ready, physically, mentally, and so I took it upon myself and started training well in advance with my trainer, who also happens to be my dad. Shout out, Dad. And that was a really awesome experience, and I was, in fact, ready by the time I got to.
Whatever Haley and her dad do, it's working. I need to show you this pic we took a while back at The Voice, and I was like,
no.
what? Like, her abs. I worked out a lot, and I never got abs like that. Like, are you doing just like 3,000 crunches a day?
Every day. 3,000
Oh!
is the number.
You're joking.
No.
And we spent months in all sorts of different styles of fighting, hand-to-hand combat. And once I had my first archery lesson, we started getting into exercises and circuits of training that would help me with those muscles. Because let me tell you, if you are sore in places you never knew you could be sore the next day.
What a lovely dad. I can't believe Haley can handle them. She can even kick my ass easily. I mean, let's just move on. That's a neat little detail, showing that he would rather be with his family than to be in this situation, but he's still willing to do it later, doing what's right and sacrifice what he wants. Confirmed by future events. Kate got back to her apartment with Clint, and Doggy is here. Lovely. Clint comment about the place, which Kate said she inherited it. Makes sense for a rich girl. Clint assumes she's 18.
I'm 22.
Yeah, same thing.
Still thinking she's a kid and should not be in this situation. He tells Kate to take the jacket off. I mean, I prefer more than a jacket, but sure.
Totally cool. Just stay cool. Be Hawkeye. In my place.
From what you just heard is a reminder, Kate is a fan of Clint and she tried to hold herself down. Just see again.
Totally cool. Just stay cool. Be Hawkeye. In my place.
We will see how important that is to her development. As a Hawkeye fangirl, Clint asked Kate where did she get the suit.
Black market auction?
I have shown you that clip in my first video already. For what is coming next, Kate told Clint she didn't bought the suit, given it's from a black market auction, and that's the same auction he knows that is being assaulted, and he saves her from being tracked down by tracksuits. With all the information he gains, he should know Kate stole the suit from the auction, as a result traced by tracksuits. Skip a bit later, that is confirmed.
Because the person that wore this suit made a whole lot of enemies. Alright, and the tracksuits are just one of them.
Clint can put 2 and 2 together. He doesn't need more answers to know those, given his track record of being a SHIELD agent and Avenger. Clint sees a box of trophies from Kate, another reminder of that, showing that she's in this skill and trained for years. Clint asks Kate what did she do in the suit.
I beat some guys up. Saved a dog. Some light B&E.
Looking at that moment again closely, he didn't react. When she said she beat some guys up and saved a dog, the first one is expected, from saving her at the end, and Kate even told him afterwards. Saving the dog is whatever. Cute doggy, but it's still just dog saving. And he even knows about it.
Check it out. A ninja saved a dog.
The only thing that makes him react,
Some light B&E.
something he didn't know already, and big enough for it. Just because he knows she stole the suit, doesn't mean she broke in and told from an auction that is being attacked, and she even says she did B&E more than once.
Some
He doesn't think Kate should be doing the last one, thinking she's still too young for it, and too risky for her. After seeing a 22-year-old vigilante, he commented about why isn't she at school. Again doesn't think she should be doing that. Kate got down to Clint, wants him to sign her bowl, makes sense for a Hawkeye fangirl.
I'm not done yet.
And this is what she say.
When you are, could you sign my bow? You're kind of my favorite Avenger.
Makes total sense to her character, but what is also shown there is Kate and Clint forced to express her opinion. Despite being a fan of Clint, she still has her own thoughts, which is also consistent, willing to disobey orders from people she cares, and cut between when her mother is expressing thoughts, to do and say what she wants. That will be shown more in the future. Put it here subtly. Nice way to set that up at first.
Are you okay, by the way?
I'm good. Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. You should see the other guys.
Looking at this brief exchange, Clint wants to make sure she's okay first before he asks more questions, aligning with his characterization of making sure everyone is safe, but Kate responds with a soft
I'm good.
before turning to a confident.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. You should see the other guys.
She is obviously not okay, like very obviously, but because she wants to impress her hero, she pretends to be, even saying that cliche line. Clint tells her they are tracksuit mafias. Kate makes a comment about the name being on the nose. Then she asks Clint,
Do you think they're the ones that killed my mom's fiance's uncle?
but this moment, if you go by future events, she is not suspecting Jack yet. But she is curious enough to ask,
So I
saw a dead body
This way.
back there, which
Don't worry about it, we'll talk about it.
which Clint said he doesn't know, because you can't just jump to conclusions. That will be informed by future episodes. When you don't have solid evidence, makes sense to Clint. Clint asks that anyone saw her face when she's using the Ronin jacket.
No. Kept the mask on like a pro.
We can go back to this later.
Okay, because the person that wore this suit made a whole lot of enemies. Alright, and the tracksuits are just one of them.
Expanding the history of the Ronin, I see.
We haven't gotten a chance to really tell the Clint Barton story, tell Hawkeye's story. Endgame is when you really see that emotional journey that he started going through with his family by losing his family in the blip and then getting them back, but in between that time becoming Ronin.
By bringing something in the past.
So we started sort of breaking the story, brainstorming ideas, and I remember sitting in that trailer as we were still shooting Endgame going, God, there's so much great source material from the comics, and how am I going to actually put this all in 2 hours? We thought, well, if there's a lot more story to tell, why not just move that project over to the Disney Plus side?
Expanding past properties is a strategy Disney has been using for a long time. with many evidence has been shown. For once in a while, Disney is actually able to respect a legacy. No matter what you think of the quality of the predecessors and successors, the successors are able to build their own legacy story from their predecessors, while honoring what they mean to people before, to pass the torch for the next generation to know about the legacy.
You think I'm ready?
You showed us you are.
Riley, I've already met the world. It's your turn.
However, most of the time they choose the other direction. You can find that from Star Wars, Toy Stories, and the animation classics. Those franchises I mentioned have their legacy and world building being tossed away, characters destroying themselves, and even changing the meaning of their predecessors. They keep bringing to a point, it turns into soulless corpse, all to make some key juggling money. Fucking burn those scripts. And those I mentioned contains the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Horses tell me, where did they all go? They used to run right here, and all I see is an empty road. Wild horses tell me, where did they all go? When I was young, they would spread like a fire, now the roots don't know where to grow.
Let's apply that to Hawkeye.
Okay, because the person that wore this suit made a whole lot of enemies. All right, and the tracksuits are just one of them.
From what we've seen here so far, the suit does serve a plot purpose. Kate getting the suit is reasonable, and they do explore more of the Ronin. But how did the suit even get here? Oh yeah, luck. There are parts using nostalgia is well done, but not entirely. Is it just bait? Or purposeful? Let's see how they keep doing fan service. Clint question more of Kate ensure she won't be discovered, or not even having a small potential, needing her to be absolutely sure. Then he said this.
Tracksuits must have followed you from the auction to where I found you.
Telling us how is Kate being found, and I did discuss this in my last video, so I'm not gonna repeat myself.
Did you stop anywhere before that?
I just dropped off the dog.
Fuck.
Hey, Kate Bishop!
And my name's on the buzzer.
Remember that tracking her in episode 1? She is being discovered, when just before.
No. Kept the mask on like a pro.
You are really confident about it. All to impress your hero. But you actually fucked up. That is consistent and showcase her flaw. She is just not that good, but she pretends to be. There's more to show about it. Just wait. The tracksuits arrive 154 seconds after they went into the apartment. That is fine. Clint makes sure they don't get followed. And they already saw Clint. No way they can do this in this angle, by the way. Who they know is Hawkeye.
Hey, Hawkeye, you have someplace to be?
So you are not Hawkeye.
They will need to distance themselves from Clint in order to ambush him. Remember, they are not trying to kill. And to corner them out in a location they know already, with this being the only place they can do so. Just to add one more thing, the lights are on so they will absolutely know they're inside. Of course, someone may question, why don't the tracksuit just attack her first time right here, instead of here? For the first reason, Kate is extremely findable. You can just track it in a more secret location, without the need to expose yourself. And that is the smarter thing to do. Secondly, they are not facing an Avenger, who can lose them. Unlike Kate, this is the only way and place to capture them. The last resort place they don't want to expose themselves shown in future events, they would rather do it silently, unless needed. Which is why that part is absolutely fine. The tracksuits yell her name and wait for a few seconds before they throw the Molotov. Actually, 2 of them. As for why they did that, it will be done if they are trying to kill. Instead of throwing Molotovs and delay the third throw, they should be using guns and constantly attacking.
We have them both.
Oh yeah, they're not trying to kill them. They just need to corner and lure them out, making sure they won't be dead. So screaming her name and delay throwing is actually a smart move. Clint runs up and prepare for the next one, in which they say,
Show yourself!
their motivation is trying to capture them, and not kill. They are just trying to lure them out, which is actually consistent with their motivation. Same as this. They make sure he is on site before throwing it, in order for Clint to easily avoid. Could not kill him but need to bring him out. Clint catches the Molotov and throw it back, surprising the tracksuits, make them burn themselves. That's pretty cool. Another tracksuit is about to throw the 4th one, but an arrow came in and knocked the Molotov. Just to be clear, the tracksuits make sure they saw them before they throw another one. Give them time to react first. That throw is not a kill.
Told ya.
Referring to,
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Yeah.
that is only a simple compliment in this situation. Does not mean he agrees she's the world's greatest archer.
Yeah.
Hold on. Replay.
Yeah.
Did you call that?
Yeah.
Who the fuck approved this shot? Clint saw the jacket is surrounded by fire, so Kate shoot the fire extinguisher, launching it away. That is a thing in real life if you're wondering.
Oh my gosh.
That went way further than I thought it was gonna go. There's the pipe on the edge of the pond, way over there. Here's the opposite edge of the pond right here. And way past it over in the dirt is our fire extinguisher.
Launching it outside, reinforcing that Kate is not good at everything, especially in adrenaline rush situations, and try to impress Clint but failed. Who actually want to get the suit?
Go get that suit!
Have to leave it behind, in character for Kate.
That's all you've got! Come on, throw another one!
Which again encouraged them to come out, for one to capture them. I know they say throw another one, but remember the context is, the house is on fire. They can't really throw another one. So that's why he also say,
that's all you've got! Come on!
Encourage them to do more than just this. Then the people in the facility come out to defend. 49 seconds later. Which is fine timing, especially just now activated alarm and sprinklers. Katie said her house and things are burned, which Clint said get the door and leave. Then the final pieces of dialogue.
Wait, what about the suit?
Leave it, come back for it.
Makes sense for both characters. Kate knows Clint wants the jacket, but Clint chose to leave it. Congruent with his character of saving other people's lives than anything else. Like here he and Kate are surrounded by fire, and the tracksuits are outside with cops coming. If you're wondering why the cops come here sooner than there,
look it. We gotta get you out of here, okay? It's not safe for you to be in this. Do you live near here?
Yeah.
Clint and Kate escape when the tracksuits are distracted, then the entire sequence ends. And it's actually well done. Of both sides actually acting consistently from who they are and what they want. Flowing events with cause and effects. And heck, the tracksuits are actually competent unlike the last episode. From a setting that makes sense to take place, that pushes the story forward in a natural way. So far starting strong.
So, where are we going?
Getting further away from those people trying to kill you.
But you're taking me places, holding me on to you.
Right. And after that?
Cause you told me that there's no way I couldn't go.
We're gonna need some supplies.
Hell yeah. Avengers supplies?
That is disappointing.
Not gonna lie to you, Hawkeye's bit of a letdown.
Yeah, she said it. A fan of Clint who finally met him. Excited and expecting to do more with him, just to get let down.
Sorry to disappoint you. Wanna grab some of that rubbing alcohol over there?
Which of course he won't let a kid do Avengers work. Especially he knows barely anything about Kate. Which the tracksuits are finding her. And he has to keep her safe. After shopping, Kate asks Clint the plan, like going to a safe house or Avengers Tower. Which he said the tower is being sold away already.
That is so sad on so many levels.
Oh yeah, that is true. Kate walks the dog to Clint. Lovely doggy.
Look, I gotta find a place to stash you, safe, so I can recover this suit and clean up your mess.
Well, yeah, Clint is right.
Stash me? Not a bag of money.
Which is in character for Kate to think she's more useful than that. Especially she did do this beforehand.
No, you're not. Bag of money be useful to me.
That is true to Clint, that she's not very helpful in this situation. Compared to money, that can actually help him escape, and even find a place to live.
I actually do know a place about 10 blocks away. Would a bag of money know a place?
Successfully impressed Clint this time, which I'm happy for her. If you're wondering why Clint didn't just get a hotel, and instead accepts Kate's offer.
Name?
Oh, yeah, no thank you.
Email?
That's classified.
Title? Organization?
Yeah. Let me just sign it. You could also take this to the front desk. Yeah. Can't have that show up on my credit card.
You just saw that, he doesn't want people to know. Kate and Clint walks to a building, which Clint has already lost her tracksuits. After finding where her aunt lives, she fakes a pizza delivery to open the door. Inside there,
Okay, not exactly a fortress, but it'll do, right?
It's my aunt's place. She's in Florida for the winter.
here's a nitpick. Clint didn't ask that when he's walking 10 blocks. Like anything about this place. And Kate only told him that when they just arrived. Weird exposition right there. But this is just a nitpick. Why? Clint doesn't mind keep using this place even in future episodes. Even after knowing that. Just doesn't really matter. Kate show off to Clint she can unlock doors, which they set up this skill before. She just can't do it to stronger locks. Small neat moment for her skill and character. Kate and Clint enters the apartment. He orders Kate to use those equipments to clean her wounds. Then he goes back to get the jacket, reminding us again he does care about the suits and the potential effect the jacket might have to him. but protecting other people is more important than a jacket. Kate asks Clint does he want the keys. He replies he doesn't need to and told her to lock the doors, showing that he can even do the same but with even weaker equipment. Differentiate power dynamic once again, with Kate thinking for a bit and left disappointed. And frustrated, she's left alone by Clint, and she does want to do more with her hero. Then we get to the next scene, which is one of the first few things the episode isn't doing so well. Clint arrives back to Kate's apartment, which they locked the place down already, and then he decided to walk in. To be clear about this, I am fine with Clint not really wanting attention about it.
We need to get the cops off my back.
You could also take this to the front desk. Yeah. Can't have that show up on my credit card.
This is about a Ronin, not a past he wants attention about, wanting to put this life away, which is proven in the MCU multiple times already. That part is fine, and Clint did look around to ensure the cops are away before he enters. However, there are other people around, and no one even saw him walking inside. How does that work? I guess all of them are too focused on the building. But look at this. A woman saw him walking but do nothing. Tell the cops. That is just stupid. Then Clint took the suit from a fire truck, which is a thing in real life if you don't know, which there are backup suits inside the truck, and walk in the crime scene. Thankfully, all the citizens watching are just blind. Clint goes in the place to look around, but he is unable to find a jacket, despite he searched the entire place already, as he is unsure where is it. Let me clarify something first. The final episode shows the jacket isn't fireproof, but the sprinklers are already turned on, and the cops come right after. No way in hell the jacket is being burned, especially there's no signs of that. He goes outside to put the uniform back. Of course no one finds it strange. A guy walking out the crime scene and just take the uniform off. For all they know, he's just a fireman because no one saw this earlier. Everyone is just blind again. Just when Clint is about to leave, so let's talk about that moment. A random sticker is just right in front of the fire truck, so Clint have a lead on it. How lucky. Someone just put it right there. In this truck on this window. Not to mention, this is a public transport for public duties, not your private car. Make it even less likely for someone to put a sticker. To clue in Clint. Which, to be fair, Clint is smart enough to put 2 and 2 together to know what's happening. A firefighter stealing a jacket. We will get to later. But that is a result of a contrived moment, unfortunately.
Do what you want, who cares if you get hurt?
Okay, I do care about it, and you can't do whatever you want. With this mentality has been destroying the MCU. Or you're just making fan fiction. Let me clarify what I mean, because I have no issue insulting word like that.
You can feel as though you are simply watching someone tell you about what they would like to see in a Star Wars story, rather than believing a story is unfolding. This is often what people refer to when insulting work by labeling it fan fiction. It's not about the process of being a fan and writing fiction, nor is it strictly intended to insult the process of writing fan fiction in general. Great work can come from that. It's more about the idea that a fan will be motivated strictly by a love of the universe, rather than a love tempered by a history of writing in the field. A person with talent, experience, and accomplishment being paid hundreds of millions to professionally craft a meaningful story while respecting the universe as much as a fan would.
To show that I care, let me offer a few tweaks. For the fire suit problem, for how I will be changing it, Clint could buy a fire suit cosplay, taking advantage of Christmas time, from costume shops, and in that way, he will have a suit ready for in and out, without the people being suspicious of him. Those problems are fixed. Now for a sticker one. He can find something related to the suit trending on social media, and discover he is the one who has a Ronin jacket, leading to him going to Larping from the Larping Instagram page, without even needing the sticker. Fixes the scene with simple tweaks. Clint left the place right after. Everyone is blind, you know the drill. Clint went back to Leon's apartment. Same time Kate is calling her mom.
I was so scared. What happened to you?
Nothing. I went out the back.
That reaffirms the idea Eleanor cares about her daughter, and what might happen to her there, in which Kate gives an explanation that is pretty believable to trick her mom. A big hotel does have a lot of ways you can escape. Yeah, I can believe she can fall for that. As for right after that talk, Kate saw Clint came back. She hangs the phone afterwards.
Love you.
I love you too.
Sweet moment for Kate and her mom again, reminding us they care about each other no matter what. But Clint has something to say about it.
Since when did everybody start saying I love you to everybody all the time?
That was my mom. Since when did your heart shrink 3 sizes?
When a little girl in ninja costume stole my Christmas?
That is true. She is the reason Clint has to abandon Christmas, the one he is very excited for.
We have to decorate the trees. There's 1,000 things to do. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be amazing. But most important thing is that we're gonna do it
altogether.
His cynicism is justified because of Kate. With all she can do is look down with regret. From the hero she looks up to, Kate walks up to Clint when he's treating his wound.
What?
Multitasking.
Hey look, I remember this reference. That is neat. She even has a reason for it.
Reducing swelling. Dying out pizza dog's breakfast.
Makes it even better. Especially this is played by Haley. I really love the reference.
Multitasking.
Then they talk about a pizza dog, Lucky, about what name it should be called. She settled on Pizza Dog for the comic knots, and the title of nobility.
How's your wound?
Asking as he told her to clean her wound beforehand, and shows he does care about her, despite she cost him something. Kate said it's alright and she put the pizza box down. That makes Clint pause for a second, confusing Kate as she asks what.
Did you clean it?
Yeah.
You did it all wrong.
That's a neat moment. Kate did listen to clean her wound, cause she is not an idiot and will listen to people, but she didn't do it well, showing the power differences, with Kate isn't good at everything, and Clint able to see the mistakes easily, consistent with his ability and character. He offers himself to help Kate fix it, ripping the bandage and cleaning it again, carefully telling her each time what to do, with the scene shows every single process of it without cutting corners.
One is going perpendicular to it. You might want to close it. This is helping singe. So we can mend to each other faster. Ladies, done? Yeah. All good?
This entire moment is wonderful. A lot of Clint's humanity is shown from there, with how well this is being portrayed. Being a caring father figure of a team of superheroes, and his own family, will care and ground them even in the smallest of details.
They're a mess.
Yeah. I guess they're my mess.
You need to be sure that this team is really a team and that they have your back.
Being willing to mentor anyone, no matter how much he knows them, how much it costs him, and what they have done in the past, which is the case here. That's actually why they want to make the show in the first place. Inspired from that moment that is done wonderfully well in Age of Ultron.
How can I let this happen?
Hey, you okay?
This is all our fault.
Hey, look at me. It's your fault. It's everyone's fault. Who cares? Are you up for this? Are you? Fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. But I'm going back out there because this is my job. Okay, and I can't do my job and babysit. Doesn't matter what you did, what you were. If you go out there, you fight, and you fight. Stay in here, you're good. I'll send your brother to come find you, but if you step out that door, you are an Avenger.
Supporting and inspiring the new heroes, making Kate look up to him even more, understanding what it's like to be one. During the course of the series, a concept I do support they make a show about, building on top of Clint's character.
This was the first time that we're making the Clint Barton story, so there was so much that I still want to tell. And given that we're introducing Kate as well too, I wanted to spend time with her as well, and I wanted to really allow that time and space to create that bond, which is so important in the comic and so appealing to everybody.
Nice way to go. Those moments like this allows me to know about their characters. Well, of course there are differences in the comics, but it doesn't mean they can't build a strong relationship with it. How do they connect to each other? And what defines their choices and motives to create that bond, staying consistent with their values in the process.
What? It's good.
Things that I do prefer over action scenes and CGI fests. Phase 4 is especially bad at this. Characters are what driving the MCU. They want to earn that connection with who they are. That moment is the first step. There is still more needing to build. Let's keep looking. After asking about her place, Kate asks Clint did he get a suit. He denies, leading to this.
But you have a lead.
What makes you say that?
We as the audience knows that Clint has a lead, but not Kate. She can't even explain when Clint asks. But despite that, she jumps to conclusions, reminding us she is confident, but also impulsive, despite not being sure about things, which Clint saw through, despite actually having evidence, demonstrating the intelligence of Clint and his understanding of people. Even the people he doesn't spend enough time with. Another good moment. Clint saw something on the desk. Kate said it's a drawing of a tracksuit's faces, in which, yeah, look at that yourself. What a shitty drawing, with so many details. At least it shows Kate isn't good at everything.
I would offer to buy you a hotel, cause from certain angles I know this all looks like my fault. But my mom canceled my credit cards due to the whole clock tower.
Another good moment for Kate. Kate wanted to help Clint more if she could, because this is her fault, which in a way it is. Feeling guilty about destroying her adult wants, but he still cares for her, seeing something trying to repay him, even though she doesn't have the ability to do so. Clint said it's not necessary, right for Clint, and having this later.
I'm just gonna be another minute, kid.
Thank you.
Reading from this, Clint still refers Kate as a kid because Clint has to keep taking care of her, and she didn't prove herself enough for him. Even still, she thanks him for helping the wound on her forehead, despite Clint doesn't need her for anything right now. A small, nice moment for her. Kate goes to bed and see him tomorrow. Next shot, Clint searches on his phone, finding the New York City Larping Instagram page. Searching a guy wearing the rodent jacket. All because of that sticker.
People always like grills when you get a new costume. Your costume looks pretty bad. And how about now?
And this guy decided to brag it all on Instagram. About a fucking stolen jacket. Really tells me something about that person. Especially the stealing parts. All because people told him he needs a new costume. This fireman doesn't have any good signs. Don't get me wrong, this is not an issue in isolation, but we will discuss this later. One more thing, Clint finding it on Instagram is not really an issue. Given his shield training, and how much information is given to him, finding it is piss easy. Just find it anywhere else on the internet. He has plenty of time to do so.
When is it over?
Midnight.
Seriously, he can do it for 12 hours and nothing will change. Especially he did it tomorrow morning. We'll get to that very soon. Actually, fuck that. Get the address and go there. He can still find the guy with the ninja suit. Looking up first is further for Clint. But give the show a look back, it doesn't change the plot. If anything, it makes Clint look smarter. By searching a person first, Clint texts his daughter Lila. As you can see, pausing the shot for a second, you can see her asking her dad. Fair he doesn't want to tell her daughter about this, or might not even he's the Ronin, as this is a past he doesn't want to remember. So he tells them to pack their things and leave. He is coming now. In the morning. That you see is right after the Instagram thing.
Ninja style.
The firefighter has plenty of time to upload a video. He has tomorrow morning to do so, right after work yesterday. It's not an issue if you pay close attention, but this clip transition is just bad.
I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
No wonder people think this is right after with this editing. Anyways, this scene makes sense plot-wise. Next scene please. But right before that, Doggy approaches him, and he holds it. Yay!
I'll be back in the morning, buddy. You're a good dog.
A very good dog. Clint opens up a big thanks to you. There are things he can enjoy outside his family. But right now, outside a hotel, Clint's oldest son is watching the Ronin video. I mean, I watch anything Haley is in. That is fine. His dad told him to stop watching, as they have to get to a car now. Let's look at the conversation.
You get to the airport, Cooper's in charge. No donuts, buddy.
What? Why is he in charge? He's an idiot.
That is a fair response.
I may be an idiot, but I got seniority.
Same as that one. Looking at the characters again.
4 more crabs?
Yes, I can eat 3. No.
Come on, Dad. You ordered food for like 30 people.
You're gonna puke if you have any more.
Lila is the smarter and brighter of the two, and the one caring the most about her family.
You look pretty cool though. That's a plus.
Of course, she would take issue with her dad's response. However, Cooper still shows off, which is also consistent.
I want one that big.
It wouldn't fit in our house, dummy.
Please.
Which Lila knows he's not that responsible.
I don't like cleaning it up.
Good way to remind us of that character again. Clint said Laura would wait for them when they land. So Cooper asks is it because of the ninja? As you recall, he watched the video just right before. Of course he's the one asking this, which Clint lies to him. For a history that hurts people around him, especially is related to his family. We have much more to discuss about that history. And what does Clint actually think about the jacket? A lot more will be discussed. Clint tells his oldest kids to don't lose Nate. Yeah, a lot of parents want their oldest kids.
Where's Nate?
Where's Nate? Guys, get in the car, please. Nate, come on, buddy.
Okay, that's pretty funny and in character. In this given situation, Lila thinks with concern as the kids are going into the car. Look at her then and take a deep breath, leading to this.
I love you, Dad.
I love you more.
That is cute. The naive kid, who is blunt at conversations, saying goodbye to his dad in sign language, showing how much he loves his father. And Clint returns saying he loves him too. Clint tells Lila to go as well, just to see her looking concerned. Her reasoning is,
You have a cut on your forehead, Dad.
good thing to concern about. And it makes sense for Lila to notice this.
Did you turn your hearing aid off?
Neat. She proceeds to ask,
What's going on? Should we be worried?
showing she cares about him and the family again.
You know, it's fine if you don't want to watch the show. I mean, I know everyone misses her, but she's your best friend. It's
Building upon something we know about her, Clint denies and said this is no big deal. Yeah, she doesn't want her to be worried. With Lala talks about this.
I really thought you would be home for Christmas.
That says a lot. She is clearly upset about the situation, thinking he will actually be home for Christmas, cause he can't spend enough time before.
Well, the whole point was for you to get some alone time with the kids.
Especially he lost 5 years with them. And anything he has to do after a blip. Clint promises he will be home for Christmas, and she insists he keeps it, showing a sad, worried face as they hug, preceded by,
I said Coop's in charge. It's not the case. Just tell him that you're in charge. You always have been. He always will be. Okay? Look after these boys.
Clint knows his kids so well. That serves as a good moment. He knows the older sibling is not that responsible, but likes to show off, telling him he's in charge so he won't be upset. Turns out it is actually Lala in charge, trusting her the most. Makes sense. She is the most caring and responsible, along having the closest connection. With saying this to cheer her up, consider she's upset before. Understandably so.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
It's gonna be the best Barton Christmas ever.
It is a short moment. Clint said Merry Christmas and goodbye, as Lala told him to keep his promise, seeing as his face keeps dropping down as the car keeps driving away. He does want to spend more time with them, but he could not tell why and have to stay here. Has to pretend to be strong beforehand. A good way to end this scene. If you are wondering why I'm talking about his kids so long, those scenes can help you understand Clint's relationship with them. What substantive reasoning he wants to go back to his family. What pushbacks and thoughts they will give to him. Why do they care in this situation? His kids are actual characters, who bonds and knows each other, allowing us to understand this goodbye, along with Clint's motive in this series, and for future scenes to have weight. Thanks for the substantive connection. Let's see how much it will mean to the show. Doggy is eating a pizza. I like that. Kate is watching the news about Armand is found dead, and people saw someone leaving the scene. The description matches.
The masked assailant from last night's auction robbery. These two events have officials wondering if indeed the Ronin has returned to New York City, if he may be responsible for Armand Duquesne's death, and what he may do next.
Sorry for Kate, but she is the person who gets seen by it. In fact, it justifies the tracksuits being able to find her even more. Replaying this again.
These two events have officials wondering if indeed the Ronin has returned to New York City, if he may be responsible for Armand Duquesne's death, and what he may do next.
It is still a speculation by the people, not completely confirmed by them. That's a neat detail, only having iffy evidence. Don't want to just hop to it. Kate is very concerned about this, as Clint told her the suit is bad news, but Kate said she has to go to work. Then he said this later.
No. That is the last thing you need to do, actually. Let's not forget the tracksuit guys trying to kill you twice yesterday.
I think there's something you should know.
What a misdirection this line is. The person in charge doesn't even have that intention.
We live them both.
When you actually lay everything in the show out, this line is just Clint's perspective. Does Clint know their true intention or not? Doesn't change a bit. Let's assume Clint knows the intention. Why does he say that? Assuming Clint caught those clues during that fight, with his experience and training.
I gotta go.
No. That is the last thing you need to do, actually.
Clint wants her to stay still here.
I'm going to find this suit, and until I do, you're gonna stay put. It's not safe, obviously.
Don't want her to go and put herself in danger. Consider he knows how she acts.
Light B&E.
Hell yeah. Avengers supplies?
So what's the plan now? Let me guess, we're going to your safe house?
Saying they will kill her or make sure she will stay. He wants to protect this kid. Makes sense in this case. But what if he doesn't know they're trying to kill him? Is it done for this strategy later?
But here's the truth.
It's not. Their main target is still Kate Bishop. They will lose the lead if they kill him right here. Especially he seems to lose already. And if they did, they will blow their chance to find Kate. That is not mentioning the fact that Clint encounters them before.
Get things up with the old tracksuit, friends.
Jesus, not those idiots.
Yeah, those idiots.
He will know how they act. Makes sense he will do it later. This line can misdirect us about their true intention. But analyze the show again. Not only this is not what they want, it also makes sense for Clint to say it here. Let's keep going. Clint is gonna find the suit and tell Kate to stay put. Yeah, he does want Kate to be safe.
It's not safe, obviously.
They did attack her last night, like he just said, but Kate still insists to go to work. because that is also not safe. Yeah, that would also be suspicious. Consider what she did and what happened last night. But that doesn't convince Clint. Then she said her mom is high-strung, surprised she didn't call her already. That is true, given what we know her before. But Clint still tells her to stay here. Then Kate said her mom is gonna find her anyways. And she owns a security company, the safest place she can go. She is clearly insisting something that Clint knows she won't stop.
You're just not gonna listen to me, are you?
I want to, but no.
Kate's reasoning, which are not technically wrong, related to her mom and work. Fast forward later, it is revealed she wanted to tell her mom, related to this, about that. Not just because going to work. It makes sense to Kate. They will protect each other, and cares for them no matter what. And this is a good opportunity to do so. Meeting face to face to explain everything. Right next, Clint tells her to change and go with her. I mean, if she's that insistent, she's just gonna leave, right after Clint left. And he knows Kate will act like that.
Look, I gotta find a place to stash you, safe, so I can recover this suit and clean up your mess.
Stash me? Not a bag of money.
Which is why he goes with her and keep her safe. Just like he did with Wanda in Civil War. If you remember that movie, after saving Wanda, he leads her to Captain America. They need to stay off surveillance in order to reach the airport. That he can do that with SHIELD training and experience. Something that should remind us of.
Are you assessing threats? Is that what you're doing?
Something like
So
that.
that's how you operate? You're just constantly looking for things that are suspicious or weird?
The only thing you've taught me is how to lose a tail, and I mostly already knew that.
The last half of that sentence is not true, but that's for later. Like Kate in a way, Wanda is not very experienced, has even less training and easy to fuck things up. Very easy to get caught. Just like here, from people trying to capture her. We move along to the street. Clint is assessing threats for Kate to keep her safe. Inside those dialogue,
Be late thanks to you?
You're gonna be alive because of me.
he definitely took the longer and more complicated way to avoid the enemies. So the same thing he did previously. Also having this on top of it, showing Clint knows his stuff.
Being a gentleman, walking on the outside, that's nice.
Complimenting him for taking good care of her. However, that is not the reason for this.
No, it's just so I can hear you. And to be clear, not because I want to, just because I need to.
In those lines, he only did it because it's needed, not because he likes her. As Clint points to his hearing aid, Kate asks what happened, revealing a bunch of those.
Too hard to tell.
Cause of work, a good reasoning for it, but slowly decreasing his hearing, with Endgame being the nail in the coffin. Even offered consequence for Clint during this bombing, which is a tad bit better. If you are wondering why other members are not deaf, Bruce is the Hulk, Scott has the helmets, same for Rhodey and Tony, Thor is a god, Steve is superhuman, and Raccoon is cybernetically enhanced. It all checks out. But I know someone has issue with this.
Essentially, his hearing loss is attributed to being close to all of the loud explosions during some of those fights. However, this doesn't really make any sense.
Let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
This is because he and the other Avengers always wore hearing protection. In every single one of the fight scenes that we see in the flashbacks, Hawkeye is wearing hearing protection, and we know this because it also doubles as their communication devices.
Excuse me, can you even see this? Can you see his hearing piece right here? Because I don't. Same for people who are not blind. He will still be deaf by it. And you can't wear both of them at once. How do you expect them to talk to each other? And minding the surroundings?
How do we do this?
As a team, I have unfinished business with Loki.
Yeah, we'll get in line.
Clint! Give it to me.
Barton, I want you on that roof. Eyes on everything. Call out patterns and straight.
Keep up, old man.
Nobody would know. Nobody. The last I saw him, an Ultron was sitting on him. Yeah, I'll be missed. That quick little bastard.
But keep in mind, this is the MCU, and they have the advanced technology used by S.H.I.E.L.D. and Stark Industries and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be even smaller. And in fact, when we see them using the communication devices during these scenes, we don't actually even see anything in their ear. So we have to assume that it's so small that it can fit inside of their ear canal.
What is this all about? You literally point out they have visible earpiece. What's so small it can't be seen? Don't make things up.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
Wanted to do something that was more plausible and yet still be lazy about it, they could have just said that Hawkeye lost his hearing through natural causes. This happens to people all the time. They just get older and they end up losing their hearing for a variety of reasons. You could have just said that. And it's a result of Hawkeye. He's just getting old, and as a result, he ended up losing his hearing for such and such reasons or whatever.
Let me get this straight. Do you not think walking causing deafness is a natural cause? Because that happens a lot in real life. Literally what Clint is dealing with. I don't understand your points at all. You keep contradicting yourself. And I honestly feel bad for people who got deaf by working after they saw this. So yeah, let's move on. Both archers here kids say they saw a superhero. He ran past them.
Hey, look, that one's you.
No, it's Katniss Everdeen. Let's go.
Well, yeah, Christmas to all the cosplays. Let's see how important is that later. On top of Clint doesn't want attention. That is true right now. And reference! Looks like Katniss in Hunger Games.
It's Katniss Everdeen.
I remember that movie.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
You really need that, Marvel. Pull back your legacy. Most things now are just embarrassing. Wish you good luck. Kate says his problem is branding. About his costume doesn't stand out and can be look like Katniss. Clint said his problem is Kate herself and the rodent jacket, and the people try to kill her because of the jacket. Clint said he's gonna solve them today, so he can go back to his family, which is shown well in the prior scene, but Kate still said his issue is branding, by being low-key, laying out all the reasoning.
Technically make you cooler, but I think with all the scary stuff that's happened since the Avengers appeared, people don't want that cynical cool thing anymore. They want sincerity.
That is true actually, of Kate's point of view, from what we've seen in the MCU, of people being scared by those.
Alright.
Not self-seriousness, but heart on your sleeve sincerity.
I see.
Clint is listening to those, but makes it clear before he doesn't want to, especially he doesn't want to sell anything.
Well, I'm not really trying to sell anything.
We then get more from Kate.
You are very contained. You keep your cards close to your vest, which you wear over a suit of armor and like 16 other layers of self-protection, all of which under, finally, is your heart. So, not exactly on your sleeve.
Describing her issues about him, consistent with how she acts before, and her talkative nature. She wants something more from her hero.
Again, not really trying to sell anything.
But you do anyway.
Actually, the reason I broke down a dialogue in this scene like this, in all honesty, is because of YouTube copyright. I am unable to play the whole minute of the scene like this. It is needed for something soon later.
Okay, Kate. What am I selling then? It's certainly not Halloween costumes or toys off the shelf.
Inspiration, Clint.
And this is it. All the talk about his branding and why she wants him to improve is something he did to her when she's young. Inspiration. That is one of the key aspects of her character, motivating her.
I need a bow and arrow.
What if that's my brand?
Wanting him to sell that heart and not keeping those to himself.
You are very contained. You keep your cards close to your vest, which you wear over a suit of armor and like 16 other layers of self-protection, all of which under, finally, is your heart.
Can my heart be quiet? No.
Despite he doesn't care about being low-key, she still insists he should try to inspire other people more, with more creative design, a department that can be upgraded to inspire. After all this, giving Clint a pause of thought, a moment that he understands Kate more, of just not being another fangirl, seeing something more in Clint that he didn't realize. He is just treating this as his job, and being Ronin for years basically killed all those thoughts.
Job has always been to hurt people.
You were a hero.
That was a weapon.
It is a great moment for both characters, and even strengthens their bonding.
And I thought, if he could do that, then I didn't have to be scared.
Yeah, that is a wonderful speech. It is all thanks to those, but we are not there yet. Kate said the office is here, and asked do they need to meet again in the house after work. He said if all goes to plan, this might be the last time they met. Kate's reaction later.
The only thing you've taught me is how to lose a tail, and I mostly already knew that.
She is shocked and disappointed, wanting to spend more time with him, and teach her more. Hence the later half.
I mostly already knew that.
Looking back, no, you don't. That is just a desperate way Kate wants Clint to stay longer, with not a complete truth. Neat moment for Kate. Clint said he hopes Kate learns to bandage a wound, like he teaches her earlier. Good and in-character response from Clint, congruent with his history. She asked about trick arrows. He said there's no trick arrows. Consider what her interests are. Hearing that is upsetting. Clint gave her a burner phone for emergencies only, telling her to go inside and stay safe. While they are waiting for her phone to ring through first, which you know she just wants to stay longer, from the looks of waiting. After the phone rings, he said emergencies only or he will block and delete you, insisting not for silly reasons. He said this is goodbye and Merry Christmas to Kate. With the final words in this scene,
Call you later.
No, please don't.
I got your number.
showing Kate really wants to meet him again, and Clint still hasn't liked her yet. Overall, a damn good scene. Approaching the next scene. Official scene of the office, which another scene is cut. But we can compare after the official one is over. Kate throws the bag in the counter and greets another worker casually, giving us the impression she's been working here for a while. Kate interrupts her mom to tell her something. If you journey all the way into a future scene,
the same night his uncle threatens you, he ends up murdered by a sword. How many people get murdered by a sword each year in New York? I'm gonna go ahead and guess 0.
Makes sense to her impulsive and inexperienced nature, and protecting each other. Oh yeah, why didn't she just tell her last night? The report is next morning. Consider what she's been doing yesterday, and what it leads to. It will be very suspicious to do that. And he is stabbed by a sword. Something only police investigation can tell you that. Not right here. The thing she used as the strongest evidence. Recall this.
Tracksuit Mafia.
Do you think they're the ones that killed my mom's fiance's uncle?
It is only here she is suspicious of this guy. Let's keep going.
Katie. Good morning.
Oh, this guy is here. I mean, they're gonna get married and tell Kate anyways. So to have a family dinner. It is fine he's here. Kate says sorry for her loss, but stutters when she says she saw it on the news, as this is her first sighting. Don't want him to know that. He said thanks for asking. He is very dear to him. So despite the thing from last night,
You don't have 300 grand. No, but I'll inherit it one day, won't I?
his death is still upsetting for him.
Come as quite a shock.
It did. It did indeed.
So she uses this chance to ask more questions.
You two were probably really close.
Well, we had a special relationship.
Which is in character for Kate, willing to take chances, even in situations she should not. Those are set up beforehand. Because of those, she tries to take a bigger leap from something else.
What about the inheritance thing? How does that work? Kate, what are you wearing?
Just to get interrupted by her mom. And good question. What are you wearing?
A friend's. I gotta...
Get the red dress out.
Really?
Yes, I like her in a red dress a lot.
What's this I hear about a fire in your apartment last night?
As for why she interrupts, she has a reason for it. We just haven't get to there yet. But in hindsight, it makes sense she said that. Her daughter's apartment did burn last night. And it's consistent what she's been characterized. In response from Kate,
I can explain. Can we talk? Without the interloper?
She is suspicious of him. And with the sudden announced marriage, makes sense she doesn't want interruption. But despite her words,
please.
No, it makes perfect sense that she would be hostile. She likely feels displaced by me, and she's testing our new dynamic.
Jack is actually cool with that, surprising both. It is not over yet.
She both desires my approval, yet wants to set firm boundaries. She feels threatened by me, and you know what? I can understand why.
That's a neat speech, but why is he so understanding?
I bought a book about being a stepdad.
And that is why. He wants to be her stepdad, and is learning how to, wanting Kate to accept him, no matter her rejection. That is why he's so understanding, doing his best for the given situation, to understand and prove himself. It makes perfect sense, leading Kate to say,
Money well spent, Jack.
A subtle way showing Kate hasn't fully believed him, referencing something she almost completely asked, while acting as a compliment that he accepts. Imagine they make him a bad guy. They will throw all those developments away. Please don't be a case. Anna no asked Kate to join dinner with them. She said okay, but only in one condition. That condition is, she will be the one to come up with the conversation topics. That makes sense to Kate, and she can use this to find evidence of Jack. As for Jack himself, he likes the idea. Makes sense to him. He wants them to accept each other, so he can be a stepfather, with Kate smile back in response, but dropping it right after, showing that she has other intentions. So that's the scene. Giving characters for Jack, while moving the story with cause and effect. Logical from the character's perspective. Now let's compare it to a deleted scene. Maybe this is actually better.
No.
Kate is feeding the dog and saw the video, saying that she looks good in the suit, and tell herself she's amazing. That's all the character stuff here. Something we know already. Partially. And this fight doesn't tell me you're amazing. You only narrowly escape. Just because you save a dog doesn't mean you're amazing. Especially you also just encountered this. Even almost got captured. In fact, during her character setup, she doesn't think she's amazing afterwards. When something shit happens moments later, you shouldn't say that. She has to go to work now. And she puts the jacket in the bag.
Listen, you never know.
Okay. That is so odd. You got ambushed last night because of the jacket, but you wanted to bring it along. I guess. But what about Clint?
I'm gonna get that vest off so I can get going.
Amazing job! You just let her keep it.
The person that wore this suit made a whole lot of enemies. Alright, and the tracksuits are just one of them.
That's a shot to his character. It's not like you have a solid reasoning like in Endgame. Kate got to the office by a taxi. What I am getting at is, we lost this entire development. Such a shame. Kate just left the bag here. The one that has the jacket inside. What the fuck are you thinking? Just keep it on you. Kate met her mom and they hug each other. She's concerned about her about last night's auction, and Kate asked her the same thing. To be fair, it makes sense for both characters. But I thought you guys called each other already. Maybe you are really that concerning. Kate asked her mom, but she interrupts her and said this interesting thing.
I don't like that you were late for your first date.
So this is your first day, the day after the auction thing. So she can do this later. That is very lucky. Another problem, how do you even do tracking if this is your first day? Holy hell.
I have a couple quick questions, Mom, that I'd like to ask you about your friend. Jack? John.
Jack.
Jack.
No, you didn't.
John.
Jack.
You kind of forgot.
How did you guys meet? Was it an online thing?
His family has had a long relationship with the company.
I thought you guys know each other already. But now you're asking simple stuff. Which is it? Please tell me. Eleanor tells her to stop asking questions and go to work. Returning there. In this area, the first thing she did is to look at the password, forcing her to leave, and look around the website for information before she returns. But let's pay closer attention. Kate didn't know when she started typing. She has to believe the fact that Kate is this stupid, to the point of not even remembering the location of this room. And she just knows how to use all this, even though this is just your first day at work. Then she found the location of Armand's apartment that you know already, of a murder you witnessed. I'm done. The little scene is horseshit. Characters and events makes no sense. There might be different context because of the reshoot. That might change the context a lot, but trying to put this scene in the actual version really don't match compared to the reshoot. At least that's what I assume. In which, it is just 3 days. And they replace it with a much better version. Good thing they cut this. By having a scene progress well to the dinner. And please show the red dress this time. Like they say you have. I really want to see. Now moving on. Clint finally arrived to the Larping place, even quickly finding the guy.
The Hawk. Up in his nest as usual.
I gave you this detail so you could keep a close eye on things.
Well, I see better from a distance.
He checks out. Clint wanted to get the suit, but he is prevented. He said he wanted to talk to the guy who stole the jacket. She said he knew when Larping is over.
The only reason I never joined him is because I spent the last 6 summers LARPing in Minnesota. Live action role play? Anyone? We're gonna learn a lot about each other this summer, aren't we? My best character is a sewing wench from Gondor.
When is it over?
Midnight.
Consider his plan later. Of course he will go in right now. But she has this to say.
I know who you are, but most of those folks out there are firefighters and cops. And if you break the rules, it's gonna get real messy.
To clarify, she didn't say he can't. He is fucking Hawkeye. His things will get real messy if he go inside right now, holding back the game when events are taking place. Most of them are cops and firefighters. This is a warning. But somehow and some way in this location, most of them are cops and firefighters? Barely any kids, teenagers, or even adults with different work. Isn't this a public event? Pretty unlikely. And then there's the second one.
Whoa, it's amazing. The Ronin, the
Isn't that
mysterious
awesome,
figure who
Dad?
terrorized organized crime in New York and elsewhere. These two events have officials wondering if indeed the Ronin has returned to New York City, if he may be responsible for Armand Duquesne's death, and what he may do next.
So in that situation, they should be suspecting him.
In less than 24 hours, he's been on the news twice. Impressive.
Do you all have blindfolds? Even his police friend? I guess every single cop just missed this. I do know this detail. This is Christmas, with a lot of cosplays, and plenty during LARPing, so they don't notice. Actually, I am almost fine with it, as long as there's not a lot of them. Almost.
Most of those folks out there are firefighters and cops.
If the game is full of police, someone should be questioning him. Not even just one. The thing is on the news this morning, reported by cops. That just never happened. Clint has no choice but to join LARPing. with that choice being consistent, of not wanting too much attention about the jackets, or he will be messy with the cops, must enter this game, even if he doesn't want to.
Seems like a part of me will always have to lose.
They ask for his name and email. That he says is classified. Title and organization later. Clint doesn't answer, just sign it. Protecting the secret. That you see is consistent. To hold info, Clint joins the game. Despite he really doesn't want to. He easily found a guy. Consistent with his skill set. He approaches and fights. A bunch of people come in and hit him. Hold on a second.
Beginners only get one free hit. If you get hit in the torso, it's fatal.
You should lose already. I guess they are just cool Hawkeyes there. Maybe that. Clint does seem to be having fun with it. Showing he can enjoy something even without his family. Easier for certain things in the future. Despite in a situation he doesn't want to be in. He finally arrived to the person. The thief said this.
Whoa, I'm a Viking. I'm really a Viking. I don't care.
Wait a minute. Aren't you Hawkeye?
Sandwich brain. This is Larping, with tons of costumes. You even play it for a while.
People always like grills when you get a new costume. Your costume looks pretty bad.
Why do you need to say this to a player? You're breaking character, before knowing he's Hawkeye. Not to even mention, you are making yourself suspicious. You're wearing a stolen jacket. Belongs to Ronan. Do you see this whenever people walk to you in the game? You know, there are a lot of cops.
Your fucking place.
Keep on the scene. Clint said he doesn't want to cause anything. Makes sense to his history and goals, but he is out of patience. But give him two choices.
I could take this, pretend sword, and you pretend to die. And I take that suit. Or I'm gonna real punch you, and you're gonna real fall down, and I'm gonna take that suit.
Those are not actually options. He just wants him to choose the first one. The other half is to want him to make a first choice. That is not making a scene. He is asking him calmly, without force. His answer is to let me kill you, but Clint rejects him. Yeah, he does find this place weird. Grills then say,
Come on, man. You're a superhero in real life. This is as close as I'm ever gonna get to being one. Just work with me. Let me kill you.
You want to be a superhero, but I thought you are a fireman already. Okay, I guess it is different for you.
And I fought Thanos.
Just finding this ridiculous. From a guy who stole his jacket. He walks there and let him kill him.
No, you gotta make it look real. We gotta have trial by combat.
You are really asking more than you should. The person really wants it back. Of a jacket you stole. The guy is a known Avenger. He is not even giving you any consequence. Yeah, sure, Grills. Just remember this. Back to the office. Kate is texting Clint. It's not calling, just texting. Fine and in character for Kate. All of a sudden, there's a call. Thinking that is Clint. First thing she did is to apologize for being mean. I mean, you kinda are. And that is to make you wanna call her. You're not breaking the rules technically. Reminding her she's kinda smart, but doesn't think it through. Short term, but not long term. Why did I say that?
Hey, Bishop.
It's not him calling. It's actually from the police. Shocking Kate. He asked her to come down to the station for a talk. So Kate asked what is this about nervously. Remember she did those in the Roland jacket last night. With police suspecting this, he asked does she know her apartment is on fire last night?
Yeah. Totally.
But you don't seem too upset about it.
Off-sounding response. That the cop find it weird. Aligning Kate.
Gary sent me to...
Now for a reason why she's not upset.
Well, I wasn't home, so thankfully I'm fine.
The cop replies,
Mind telling me where you were last night?
Yeah,
She's distracted by following the sight of Jack. She is suspicious of him. Makes sense she can't do a fast deception like she did before. Can only say she's at work. An actual truth. He tells her to come here tomorrow morning. She said okay and he hangs up. With Kate looks into Jack's direction. Despite he left already. She is still suspecting him. Clint and Girls are gonna battle. Of course he's not gonna refuse it.
Most of those folks out there are firefighters and cops. And if you break the rules, it's gonna get real messy.
If he doesn't do it, and grab it here by force, from a guy who doesn't want to give it to him first, things will be pretty fucked. And especially if he's trying to keep it low profile. I mean yes, doing this gains attention. But that is the better option, compared to take it from a willing person by force. A person who the Larpers know already, with most of them being cops. Indeed will cause more attention. Much more. With two options only.
You don't have a good choice, but you have a choice.
She tells Clint to drink the potion, whatever that is. He said no, I want to get over it. It's not a time problem. His plan starts at night. Not really urgent.
Out of respect, whoever the hell this is.
That's the reasoning.
Winner takes the suit!
Still no police catching that? She already yelled out loud. Actually, why are you yelling that? That is the opposite of the gamble. I have no idea. They have a pretend fight. Clint is clearly holding back. He gets annoyed he hasn't killed him yet, because he really wants to look real. What a larper. They fight some more? Grills asks, is he ready? Clint is absolutely ready. Duh.
If you get hit in the torso, it's fatal.
The fight is over. I mean, in the storytelling standpoint, there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just fake fighting with no plot armor. It's a fine fight scene, but nothing really good either. There are slight insights for Clint, even acting as a bonding for future events, including the next scene, and that's it. Not really much to talk about. They are not gonna get hurt or die. The fight winner is set ahead already. Even if you will die in the MCU, you can come back by asking.
Please, Howard, you have to help us. Please.
What the heck? Cyrus is not going to like this.
Yeah, that's how the afterlife works.
You find me afterlife.
Why would someone put this shit down? They say they burn a corpse, but they just cut to the next scene. So whatever that means. Oh wait, there's a deleted scene. Is this thingy? Yeah, you can remove it. This is nothing but filler. At least the fight provides character bonding for future users. That's something. The person hands the jacket back to Clint. Wait a second. The guy is a head taller than Clint. How do you fit the jacket? Oh, he uses belts. That's alright. It's just a jacket. But how can Kate fit in the jacket? Haley, Stanford, and Jeremy Renner's are almost the same height. It is that simple. Girl says a bunch of larping stuff. Basically, just thank you. Clint said he can call him Clint, that he's surprised he allows it, which is nice. Clint did something for Grills, despite it's actually his fault. And Clint did reject him once. Makes sense this will be a surprise. Clint wants Grills to take those to the front desk. Doesn't want it to be in his credit card. Aligning Clint. He really doesn't want people to know this. The people will charge. And then, Grills said this.
No, but seriously, thank you. I owe you one.
Let's talk about Grills. Grills is the reason we get to the LARPing. He will continue to be in future episodes, playing a bit to the plot. Well, yes, he's not in episode 3, but he's in episode 4, and even the last 2 episodes.
5 to 6.
The LARPing stuff is because of him stealing the jacket. That is pretty selfish. And what is worse later, he refused to give the jacket back, unless he did him a favor. Those are not positive traits. And yet, it is never addressed. He seems so selfless after that point.
Man, take my couch. Really, take my bed. Trying to save your life, you little brat. No, but seriously, thank you. I owe you one.
I don't believe those are complete reverse of his character. Those selfless moments are related to Hawkeye, and he does show some appreciation for him. But his character in episode 2 is completely dropped. The moment he said he owns him. When you look the show again, this is not nearly as badass. Ray dropping her entire character setup just to gain power out of nowhere.
I bypassed the compressor.
Fuck you, Ray. It's just Grills in this episode is a plot device, by dropping what he's established, and only leaving the throwaway lines.
People always like Grills when you get a new costume. Your costume looks pretty bad.
You're a superhero in real life. This is as close as I'm ever gonna get to being one. Just work with me. Let me kill you.
To advance the story. And that is a shame. There is so much more you can do with him. And we get nothing here.
Like, this has been like the best day of my life.
But Clinton addressing him is fine. It is consistent with his character. And especially he said this is the best day of his life. Why would he try to destroy his? It doesn't make sense with his motive in the show.
It's gonna be the best Barton Christmas ever.
And that will actually gain more attention from cops. He isn't even commenting back like Kate does. It is logical to him. Grills asks that you have fun. Clint said he's glad he did it. So yeah, he does have fun, making Grills happy. They say Merry Christmas, and Clint tells him to take care. Grills said his real name to Clint, with Clint said nice to meet you Grills. Provides them a bit of bonding. Moving to the next scene, Clint calls his wife, while his kids are making a gingerbread house. Clint said he can't make his flights, as he walks into the gym room. She asks how bad is it, confirming Clint tells her wife about the situation already, showing how much trust they have for each other. Clint thinks he needs one more day, timing-wise.
How's the problematic wardrobe?
That dialogue shows Laura knows about Rona already. They really trust each other. Actually, given the final reveal, it makes even more sense he would share the secrets.
Yeah, safe. Let me hang on to it for insurance. At least until I clear things up with the old tracksuit, friends.
That is a pretty logical move. Good on Clint's part. But we have a deleted scene of him destroying it right now, instead of the end of the show. An alternative. So let's take a look. Clint has to random building rooftop that has the thing to burn the jacket that he just somehow knows. While telling Laura he's doing this, he burns the jacket and leaves before the jacket finished burning. That's kinda stupid. You didn't check if the suit completely burned. What if there's wind, rain, or people got up there and see? They could be suspicious again. Even a bit more chance, if someone saw you, you will get exposed. So they cut it out and burn it later, in a more secure location, making more sense.
Jesus, not those idiots.
Those idiots.
Referring to the tracksuits, with both characters look down on them, Clint has casually beat them before. Of course, Clint won't see them as a threat, and given who Laura is at the end, and their close relationship, that is also true.
Not sure how high it goes up, so I just gotta stick around a little bit longer.
But only concerned about someone above, and not those guys. It helps a tad bit of the stupid, but only slightly. They are still gangsters, and understand how to follow command. But at least that justifies Clint's choices later. Clint said he promises Lila he will be home for Christmas.
I'll be home for Christmas.
Promise me.
Yeah,
Promise.
Just like this. She said he has 5 days to keep that promise. He said he's missing out of the gingerbread house construction, showing he's upset he can't be with his family. That he's excited for.
What's your favorite one?
Gingerbread house.
We're doing that.
Laura said it's okay and you're just gonna slow us down. Trying to cheer her husband up when he's in a downer situation. Really lays out both of their motives in 4 sentences, and all coming from the family setup.
What's the play?
Little catch release.
Nice. One of Nat's old moves.
So this play, Clint will know about with their relationship with each other, which after getting captured, it will actually turn out like this. It also established again they both reminiscent of Nat, and that makes sense, given their history. Laura tells him to be careful, and tells her to take pictures of the gingerbread house, upset he can't be home with them, as he left to get himself caught, ending the scene, and Clint's character is still intact. That is honestly impressive. Consider what we have in Phase 4. Trying to destroy their old characters as early as they are on screen, just to serve what you want to happen. And there's still a lot more things to come.
He promised to come to Stockholm and Rome, but he bailed.
He's working on a new project.
Marvel? Oh, of course.
A sequel.
A sequel to what?
I don't know, I lost track. Sequel to a whole bunch of them. Saw it in the trades.
Make me wanna die.
Consider Ronan is what they want to bring back. They could have destroyed Clint easily here. The most obvious way they can do is by still making Clint the Ronan, despite his family is back.
What I want, you can't give me. I've got a job to do.
Is that what you're calling this? Killing all these people isn't gonna bring your family back.
That would be contradictive, unless he has justifiable reasoning. Like in the show, that is consistent with his values. We will get to that. There's arguments in the Avengers wreckage that he didn't recover, that fucks his character, as he cares when it is on the news, which no. He cares more about the person, who is danger from the auction assault, not exactly the jacket.
Grab the dog and go!
Wait, what about the suit?
David, come back for it!
Even brings her to safety first, before he gets a jacket, putting other people other than himself.
Tell my family I love them.
And just to remind you,
Verschwinde nach mehr auf dem Gelände?
I don't think so. Why? Wasn't that destroyed like years ago?
Well, I thought so. But I thought the same thing about your fancy outfit.
that's every same person ever. Oh yeah, there's the blade. Ignoring a blade can't find anyone, and Clint is wearing gloves, so not even fingerprints. But didn't he has a blade on hand? And didn't totally lost it? Let's look at it again.
Clint! Give it to me.
Oh, you didn't caught that. Look again even closer.
Clint! Give it to me.
If you still didn't caught that, give an even closer look.
Clint! Give it to me.
As you just witnessed, His blade is already gone in Endgame, in half a second of the movie, with editing that tricked you the real timing. Just like here in this episode of Hawkeye. How did someone even notice those? It's not on his back, by the way. If Clint still has it in Hawkeye, your foundation is burned. You should be pointing at Endgame and not Hawkeye if you have an issue with this. And I still say that doesn't affect the movie at all. He's still fine without the blade. And there's another factor. Let's look at Endgame again. So Clint is on a dark path for years, as he lost his family from the snap. He stops being a Ronin. When they discover time travel, that can fix everything. Even though this is just a small chance.
A chance? Maybe. I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner.
Much later, they bring everyone back. He finally has one conversation with his wife, until they got blown up and forced to fight again. Only after the battle is over, he reunites with his family. Right after. How do I know this? Laura is wearing the same clothes. That is the same as his brother, wearing the same t-shirt and jeans. The younger brother is wearing the same thing, only difference is a hoodie. As for Lila, she is the most different. She put her hair down, which yeah, and also a bigger clothes, because it's autumn. Even different shoes, but consider the other three are almost the same. She's an outlier, and the trip is almost 2 hours and 30 minutes long, not even counting the battle time. Adding the time he needs to find a Quinjet. She could have changed in those moments. And there's one more damning evidence, his battle scars. That he didn't have time to stitch himself up. Yeah, he did arrive back immediately, after he got a jet. That he didn't take the blade, even though the blade is not important. Consider he missed his family. He lost for 5 years. He has no reason to look back on the Ronin when his family is back, unless he has specific reasoning. It is all in character for Clint. He is not damaged in Endgame and Hawkeye.
Really, he knows this character inside out. So I think it's very important to Jeremy to make sure that what we're establishing, what we're continuing to tell about this character is true. And Jeremy is very much into the truth about the character. So he puts in the extra effort to make sure that, you know what, this does make sense. The lines that he's saying is correct and true to how Clint Barton would react.
But I'm glad someone paid attention to this detail, cause just missing something, even just a tiny bit, can wreck your foundation.
But what really hurts the show, with regards to Sharon's character, what affects Steve and Natasha as well, is this quick shot in Endgame. It turns out that the remaining Avengers assumed that Sharon was blipped along with the others. Add another thing to this.
It's been 23 days since Thanos came to Earth.
In 23 days, Stark Technology was unable to find Sharon Carter on the planet. Now here's the funny thing about this. In the show, Sam asked Torres to help him find Danya Madani.
Danya Madani. She's a refugee. Yeah.
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay, call me if you get a hit.
Will do.
Thanks, Torres.
And in 2 minutes,
They found Madani. Dead. She died in Riga, a city near the Baltic Sea.
not only does this make the Avengers look like morons for not being able to find Sharon, but it also makes Sharon's role in the show worthless. Sam already has a friend that can help him find out where Carly and the Flag Smashers were. He didn't even expect to find Sharon in Madripoor until she just appears. He also didn't expect her to have access to 2 satellites until she said so. Back to Sharon and Steve. As for this turn for the character, it's clear that the Russo brothers intended for Sharon to be blipped during the course of the 5-year period. Steve is still a dick for not helping Sharon in the 2 years before the blip, but 2 years is better than 7 years. I couldn't find a particular reasoning as to why this sort of blunder between the 2 products happened, but the simplest explanation are that they didn't check or they weren't told about the happenings of Sharon between products. Like, come on, Steve is looking at Sharon's photo as well.
Bravo! That was marvelous. Really, truly. No wonder you had to get that out.
See what I mean? Just a little detail. Let that sink in. Red Devil's video is in the description, just right below. So back to Haley, Hawkeye. Still no red dress.
Why don't you start making it up to me by putting on that red dress in your bedroom and coming with me tonight?
I prefer that way more. Kate thanks Jack for a wonderful dinner. That he's glad she likes it. He then talks about the secret of it, and what it comes down to.
Patience and
attention.
That's a pretty charming line. One that shows he's committed to a relationship. Supported by the previous scene. Kate said he's almost too good to be true from those attributes. She is suspecting him killing Armand. In her point of view, that makes sense. Jack has this to say.
I assure you, I am not.
A humble response. He wants Kate to accept who he really is, for wanting to be her stepdad, with showing he's not an arrogant person. But in another way, it could be a teasing he's the villain. That Kate is thinking, please don't be the case. Kate said he likes to collect swords, and even an expert of it, asking does he fence.
I'm buying that sword.
Very reasonable, put 2 and 2 together. He said he dabbles. Consider what we are shown later. That is a humble response. It is consistent with his goals. And even just before, it makes perfect sense. Continue the sword talk. Kate is here at base swording or I don't know swords. But Jack compliments her for knowing that Eleanor is very cautious of her daughter saying this, leading to Kate responding like this.
I was a 2-time state champion. Good with all the outdated weapons. I'd say it made me pretty aware of when someone is trying to stab you in the back.
Looking into events later, she wants Jack to fight her, to prove he's the killer. Jack did say he likes swords and know how to fence. It is a logical through line for her. This is not bragging just for bragging. She says she's good at all the outdated weapons, based on the context they are talking about. So like this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I mean, yeah. Of course, based on Kate's intention, it's not all weapons. But she should know a fair share.
U.S. Open Martial Arts Championship.
You're amazing. I still remember when you got your black belt at 50.
And martial arts training does include weapons. If you don't know about that, even justifying her using the bottle even more. There's the stab you in the back, basically how Armand dies, reminding us why is she doing all this. And show again Kate's overconfident in this situation. Doesn't think it through, making her mom said this.
Okay, I think you've both proven that you know what swords are. Can we move on?
Deja vu?
What about the inheritance thing? How does that work?
Kate, what are you wearing?
Interrupting her daughter like this again. But we will take a while to get to why. Jack said a common interest is a good way of bonding. Don't want to move on this topic from Kate, disappointing Eleanor. From what we are presented, it makes sense to him.
I bought a book about being a stepdad.
Kate said bonding is what she's thinking as well. And so she said to have a fencing match, which is aligning to her motives. Eleanor doesn't want to because they have enough drama this week. I can't say she's wrong. Jack initially agrees and said perhaps she's right. Kate said come on, why not? We have fencing gear. And that convinces Jack. It does seem weird at first, but Jack is very interested in swords. He is learning to be Kate's stepfather, and he wants to bond with Kate about swords. Seeing how excited she wants to, with him knowing she wants to bond as well. At least that's what she said.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Bonding.
Accepting it is in character, despite Eleanor's comments.
Okay, all she said was why not. That's not a convincing argument. That's not an argument at all.
It is a logical response, and it's in character for Eleanor to say that. And yet, it doesn't change Jack's mind. Despite that, what Eleanor said here can use as a response whenever people say why not.
What's next for you?
I'm gonna find my armor. And I'm gonna kill that bloated pig who double-crossed me. Take his throne.
You want to head of Gatra.
Why not?
Okay, all she said was why not. That's not a convincing argument. That's not an argument at all.
By the way, if you check the show's release date, the Book of Boba Fett is a week after Hawkeye ends, with both being on Disney+. And this show did a thing that Hawkeye made fun of. What a fucking shit show. Jack leaves the seat and go upstairs to get the gear. Kate said it would be fun, with a walk beforehand. That is in character for Kate, knowing her character and intention, but it is concerning her mother. It will take a while for us though. They move away the desk and grab the gear.
Honey, be careful.
When am I not careful?
I was talking to Jack.
Inside this interaction, Kate brushed over Eleanor's warning.
You gotta harness that overconfidence of yours, okay? It's ridiculous. Overconfidence, you remember that one?
Very consistent. But in fact, Eleanor is talking to Jack. The reason why? She knows how good Kate is about it, and Kate's personality. That matches Eleanor concerning it. Pretty good before the fight. They have a standoff. And the combat begins. Same for the fun. They trade blows with each other, until Kate is able to stab him. 1 point for Kate. Jack compliments her being good at it. Consistent with his motive, Kate said to don't let her win. She is having doubts about him. He said he wouldn't, and tell her to go again. That can interpret he's the bad guy. from his holding back attitude. But there's no full contact yet. Another round begins. They parry each other for a while, until Kate got more aggressive and keep going offense. Seconds later, it leads to... with Jack saying, "You're good and you caught me again." Compliment her. Makes sense wanting to bond with Kate. Eleanor said to her daughter, she preferred her fiancé to have 4 limbs. Eleanor is basically concerning, as Kate is clearly getting more aggressive, wishing she would chill out.
Honey, be careful.
She knows her daughter. Kate said to stop letting her win, knowing something is off during the fight. In fact, he is purposefully leaving himself wide open, so Kate can land a hit on him, something Kate discovered. She has tons of experience to know that. Jack said he's honestly not, and she's a 2-time state champion. She did say it herself.
I was a 2-time state champion.
That Kate has no comment about it. Her own words against her. And now for the final round, which Kate attacked very aggressively. Remember, she suspects him, finding evidence about it, consistent with her overconfidence and reckless nature. However, despite Kate left herself wide open, which Jack can attack her anytime, he only decides to keep dodging and do nothing about his blade until Kate strikes him. But her reaction right after...
What are you hiding, Jack?
Knowing this round doesn't make sense. Yeah, he could have countered and parried anytime, like he can do before, but he chooses not to, justifying Kate being frustrated. Makes sense with her young and inexperienced nature. Jack said nothing, and he's an open book, which she turns to ask Eleanor. Right after that moment...
Kate!
In a desperate attempt, she stabbed him just to fail. He is clearly lying beforehand. She has made similar choices before, just to protect her mother. Makes sense to Kate. Jack even did it while he barely looks, and the blade is out of her hand, really showing their skill differences, confirming he's lying beforehand. Eleanor said what's wrong with you. Kate said he's lying, with Jack's response.
To be fair, I did downplay my skill, and repeatedly lie about it.
He is defending Kate, like he did that before.
I can explain. Can we talk? Without the interloper? Please.
No, it makes perfect sense that she would be hostile.
The reason?
I bought a book about being a stepdad.
Same applies to here. Understanding her. Learning to be your stepdad. Also apply to the fencing. Of why is he holding back. Even mentioned in the scene prior.
I think you've both proven that you know what swords are. Can we move on now?
Oh, but dear, I think a common interest is very fertile ground for bonding.
It is a way of bonding. Especially how excited she is. His fault is using lies, letting her win to grow stronger with each other, making this a strong fight scene. Even if the victory is planned already, it is still strong character moments for Kate and Jack.
It makes perfect sense.
Eleanor says she's trying to stab you in the face. That is logical and consistent with Eleanor.
I knew he would parry. What I was trying to do was prove that he is lying, which I successfully did.
Well, you did.
I'm gonna go change.
But he's upset by it, as this doesn't bond well with each other, like he wants to. There is still more about him to come. Just keep this in mind. Eleanor says she cannot believe Kate, clearly disappointed at her.
Little depressed. Every now and then we get that feeling in our chest.
Kate said Jack is hiding something. Concern for her mother. Makes sense wanting to protect her. With Kate's reasoning.
Don't you think it's a little strange that the same night his uncle threatens you, he ends up murdered by a sword? How many people get murdered by a sword each year in New York? I'm gonna go ahead and guess 0.
Those are all of Kate's reasoning, and is consistent with her character. Jack loves swords, shows conflict with Armand, who ends up buying the sword he wants. Also, he's really good at it. Those happen at the same day. That's why she suspects him. Those are not solid evidence, but it matches Kate's inexperienced nature, wanting to protect her mother, and overconfident about it, leading her into immediate action to do what she thinks is good, no matter are the reasoning strong enough or not, to try to help people.
Kate, it's sweet that you're worried, but just remember, I'm the mom, it's my job to protect you.
Which is also a consistent portrayal of Eleanor.
I need to protect us.
That's my job. Okay? Whatever you need, I'm here for you.
That is her job to do so. Kate says she's not a little kid anymore. Don't want her mom to treat her like one. Which is true to Kate. Eleanor says she's not a superhero either. Don't want her go out looking for trouble. Logical? Also showing she knows her daughter look up to Clint. She said Armand thing is terrible, but the police will handle it. Which is logical for Eleanor to say that. And also because something later, Continuing that,
I don't want you doing any more snooping. You could get really hurt, and we're not talking scrapes on the knee anymore, Kate.
which is also from before.
And you have always been both, so take it from someone who hasn't. You're not. You will get hurt. So please, don't go out looking for it.
Concerning I want her daughter to be safe. Consider this happened, doesn't want her to be in dangerous situation. Also, because of this, it will still take a while. Kate said there's more. The ninja suits, street gang, and Molotov cocktail. Trying to tell her mom but doesn't know how. I mean, she is not a Ronin. Only have pieces to figure out. Eleanor screams street gang, standing out to her. There must be a reason why. Jax and ninjas. Of course that stands out to him.
What exactly is in a Molotov cocktail anyway? Are you old enough to drink?
He's fine with Kate even after this. Neat. Eleanor ensure everything will be okay. Try to calm her daughter. But adding several more sentences.
I get being scared at the uncertainty of what comes next in life.
That's a good assumption for a daughter. The sentence proceed.
But we know what comes next for you. Right, you'll graduate, and in the fall, you'll start working at Bishop Security for real, right? Like we've always planned.
Like you've always planned.
Really loving your daughter. Helping her a lot. But might be even overdoing it. As this is not her choice entirely.
Just put one foot in front of the other, and in a few years you'll look up, and I promise you will be happy where you are. I promise.
But it's done out of good intentions. For what she thinks is best for her. Which is consistent and shown from what we know about Eleanor. Those several sentences informs a lot about her choices. Especially when you got to the end. Just keep this in mind. Eleanor said, can we put this behind us? While touching her daughter's face. Wanting her to move on from it. Start by apologizing to Jack.
Sorry for scaring you into telling the truth.
That apology is not admitting you did something wrong. She still thinks she's in the right here. Which her mom knows it. But Jack's response.
Smart as a whip, this one, huh?
He doesn't mind. Consistent with his portrayal. I like this guy. He asked Eleanor that she wants a drink. She asked him is he alright. Jack said he's okay, and it's not the first time someone tried to take his head off. What a chat. Jack walks up to Kate, offers her a butterscotch with Armand's name. Kate remembers something she saw yesterday, and she leaves immediately. Of course, people from initial viewing will say, a candy doesn't prove anything. They are related. A name butterscotch is not an evidence. Doesn't show he's the killer.
He offers her a butterscotch sweet. Candy, if you will. And when Kate went to Simon Callow's apartment in the first episode and found him dead, he had a tray of the exact same butterscotch sweets. Because this show's written by a fucking moron.
Is that really? Another possibility is Kate's insistent Jack is a killer, of wanting to protect her mother, but her inexperience and wanting to rush into action, who doesn't always think the situation through, is what leading her to think of this. I mean, that could be true.
There's too many coincidences. He was at the auction that night, and yesterday he offered me a butterscotch.
It's weird. I get it. But it's not exactly airtight.
Right. Which is why we need more evidence.
Just might be another explanation.
Why stop now? Well, maybe I like to try to throw you off your game.
Jacques tries to smooth things over with Kate and offers her a piece of candy, and it happens to be one of those from Armand's house, one of the monogram candies that was so bluntly pointed out in the first episode. This leads Kate to be absolutely convinced that Jacques is the one who killed Armand, but this is flimsy at best, considering that Armand is Jacques' uncle, they were close family, they had frequent contact, he lives not even 5 minutes away, so it seems extraordinarily likely that Jacques would have visited his uncle on a regular basis and even taken some of the candies.
A very thorough investigation that has found no evidence of foul play.
But since the Disney Marvel writers are simplistic morons, everything needs to be dumbed down to the lowest possible level.
Just a mite. Eleanor asked her what's wrong. She said nothing. It's just a word thing right now. If he excuse. Which is why Eleanor said I'm your boss. And I can excuse it if it's a work thing. Consistent and she has issues lying. She said everything is fine and she will call you later. Leaving the penthouse with Eleanor confused. And Jack shrugging it off. Ending the scene that is packed with great character moments. Clint arrived to a dark alley, saying to get this over with. What is this referring to is a fan with tracksuits. Arriving soon after, cause remember,
Time to get myself cut.
allowing himself to get followed, and the tracksuits are capable of finding people.
We've got eyes everywhere.
Tracksuits must have followed you from the auction to where I found you.
Both sides make sense. Of course they have more people and better equipment this time around. They don't have to worry about police this time, as they didn't commit any large-scale crime this day. With the added factors, Kate might not be good at losing track, but at least she doesn't want to get followed, unlike Clint intentionally allowing it. So much more people can find him. There's also, last time they only need to capture a Ronin. Clint being here is unexpected. Not to mention, when they know Clint is with Kate, they have more people and better equipment, even during a low profile. Twice. Supporting this idea. Yep, they capture him.
Easy, easy. Come on! She wants him alive.
You heard, it's just captured the entire time. They leave and said that was easy. I mean, that is because he lets you. You're not a public government agency. Not like you actually can or have non-lethal rounds. That is non-lethal?
This is what happens when the wrong people get powers. The wrong people? Kids, Agent Barry. We need to lock the city down and get them in now before anyone else gets hurt.
Enhanced rounds?
Non-lethal. I want this kid taken alive. That way we can figure out what the hell he is.
Are you serious? This is your definition of non-lethal? Do you know what's more? Most are just normal kids, aside from the two. And you shoot them with non-lethal rounds. That's not even including trying to bomb them. Before you even said...
Non-lethal. I want this kid taken alive.
I'm not even mentioning. One is just an innocent kid. Do you remember your motives? You psychopaths. Kate found a taxi, went in while trying to call Clint, while heading away to find him. That is before she knows he's captured. The phone went to voicemail. She said she has 2 crazy clues, and to call her later. Hang the phone. Consider she's a fan of Hawkeye, wanting to meet him again. She calls him a second time. This time around, the call isn't.
I'm sorry. Clint Barton can't take your call right now.
But not what she expects. The person responding is Cassie, the person leading the tracksuits in the first episode. If we move ahead to the end, they want to capture her as well. This is just to lure her there. Consider she has a jacket and skill enough to beat some of them. They are suspecting her to be a Ronin, but that's for next episode. Kate used the phone and tried to track Clint. I mean, she is rich and working in this company. Afterwards, she said,
Sir, I'm gonna need you to speed up, please.
She said to speed up, not to immediately arrive to this location. I mean, she needs gear, or else she will just be fist fighting. Can't save Clint like that. It makes perfect sense.
There's no way I couldn't go, nothing I couldn't do.
Now for the final scene of the episode. Clint is captured into a secret location. He said they have a nice place here and totally not creepy. One of the tracksuits said he's kidding and told him to stop kidding. What are we getting later are dialogues with world building.
Because it was getting very hard to find place. No? Old warehouses being converted into lofts, so how can I get something better? No,
bro.
Come on, bro. But he's criticizing.
For those few sentences the tracksuit gave us, it's hard for criminal organization to find places, cause they are converted into other facilities. So the criminal organization in New York, comboing the information in episode 1.
The Ronin decimated the criminal underworld of this city, almost completely annihilating the status and power of the head of organized crime.
They are pretty fucked, which does explain the tracksuit's lack of resources. Not just the business forcing their hand. It includes the Ronin.
Ronin hit the supplier on the other side, and then hit tracksuit upper management.
About that clip, eventually we will get there. Clint said he is not who they think he is. That confuses the tracksuits, pausing their thought for a moment.
You are not Hawkeye.
Well, I guess I am who you think I am.
Okay, that's kinda neat. That even surprises Clint, who he calls them idiots. Kinda a funny moment. Clint said he's not the guy they're looking for. The person in the jacket who they fought. And they say...
Kate Bishop.
Thinking she's the person in the jacket. I mean she is, but Clint is trying to convince them she's not. And keep having a back and forth about it. A short while later, Clint asks can he speak to their manager. That indicates he knows who is in charge of them. And he said this is like talking to furniture, mocking them being stupid and not willing to listen, showing Clint being fearless in this situation. Even when he's surrounded, he said he's here to talk to your boss and ask is that possible, saying he's trying to be civil. I mean, given his skill as an Avenger, and what is shown in the next episode, he is being civil. The tracksuit said you are a prisoner, what's civil? Just for Clint to untie himself. That move threatens the tracksuits, showing the tracksuits they are not a threat to him. The bold guy telling you to look at him because he is interrogating you. Change to we are interrogating you later. Clearly they are nervous. They ask where is Kate Bishop. He said he never met her. Clearly a lie. And they keep having this back and forth. while the ceiling keeps creating noises. Until...
Bro, I found her.
It makes me so happy. I just get so giddy like a child.
That really matches Kate Bishop. Risk-taking, willing to help others in danger, especially her idol, but also way too confident and inexperienced. That will lead to her downfall, just so in character.
Oh wow, didn't realize we were supposed to bring guns.
Oh, it's so hot. Oh man.
The tracksuit tied Kate next to Clint. Clint said to Kate, "Look what you did." Disappointed she ruined his plan. Kate said she's just trying to help. I mean, she is. You just might as well not. But at least that is in character. Which Clint pulled her back from speaking further by telling her to don't talk. Consider Clint's shield training and experience. He knows this is the most logical thing they should do right now. We arrive to the final moment, where we saw a brand new person, completely unaffected by the echoes. She will have a lot to talk about in the future.
We have them both.
Remember this previous moment?
Easy, easy. She wants him alive.
She is the one managing them. Also the one commanding them not to kill Clint and Kate, and only just capture. Revealed in those 4 words. She looks confused a bit, consider the dark lighting, so the tracksuit signs it for her, and she tells him to leave. Like Clint, she also has this ability. Who's that girl? To be continued in the next episode. That's the end of the second episode. It's time to look back and summarize it. The plot progression this time around, if you look detailedly, aside from this jacket missing scene, which is actually problematic.
Yes, there's too many coincidences.
Also counting this scene, which is run by this line.
Most of those folks out there are firefighters and cops. And if you break the rules, it's gonna get real messy.
This dialogue has its good and bad. The good is Clint will logically participate, but the bad is contrived this event even happened. Really, aside from those, the plot progression is actually pretty well. The beginning, the Jack plot line, and even the end. And hey, the tracksuit is actually pretty competent, unlike the last episode. I know that is.
Small voice in the choir.
But it is what I really think. As for the characters, Clint and Kate are done well in this episode. Same for the bonding, which they learn something about each other. Honest about it, Kate still hasn't earned Clint's liking. I do appreciate.
Kate Bishop's great at everything.
Done. Yeah.
So where's the fucking growth?
Right.
That's not a convincing argument.
They even characterize Jack well.
I bought a book about being a stepdad.
Also adding more layers to Eleanor.
Just put one foot in front of the other, and in a few years you'll look up, and I promise you will be happy where you are. I promise.
What's more, is Clint's family are also done well. Really, the only exception is Grills. This guy is not a character. He's here to push Clint to LARP. That's it. Still, overall for character in this episode, it's done very well.
The entire second episode was unnecessary. That could have been dealt with in 5 minutes.
You may not be wrong. It's not like this episode provides a lot of Kate and Clint bonding.
Inspiration, Clint.
Or the core motives for Jack and Clint.
Look at me. I'll be home for Christmas.
Promise me.
Yeah,
Promise.
Dear, I think a common interest is very fertile ground for bonding.
Or Kate discovered more evidence from Jack that she will find Clint, who is doing a catch and release, which allow both to get captured in a logical way, because no way in hell Clint will allow Kate to get captured with him, especially from who he called idiots. Really useless and all done in 5 minutes. Totally not. Clint has more screen time than Kate in this episode, by the way. Just a fun fact, episode 2 is an improvement from episode 1. It has less issues and more moments, so good job. Don't get me wrong, Marvel is still in big disaster right now, even counting some pre-phase 4.
You could just fly there and give it to them, why wouldn't you? We're not allowed to drop advanced technology into a developing society like bestowing a gift from heaven. If someone had landed on Earth during our 20th or 21st centuries and had given us something like this, You know what would have happened? It wouldn't have been made available to everyone. The rich and powerful would have found a way to exploit it for financial gain. Someone would have had to benefit materially from its use. The idea of everyone benefiting equally would have been inconceivable to them. If we're wrong, we could mess your planet up 1,000 times worse. Technology and societal ethics have to progress hand in hand, each one supporting the other incrementally. Anything else is begging for disaster.
I prefer watching complex drama movies this year than a Marvel movie pretending to be deep. But if Stranger Things can get back to its glory again, might even for Marvel, even just a very small chance.
Believe in yourselves. Dream. Try. Do good.
And that's the end of the video. Thank all of you who made it here. And big thanks to Red Devil for having this video.
And that's just one small fraction of the main attraction. I need action.
His channel is right below. Of course, if you found issues in my video, don't be shy. Feel free to point it out.
Nobody dares to speak against your word, so they just sit quiet.
Cause I will listen. Just one more thing I need to tell you before I go. There is still a lot more episodes for me to explore, but life is getting in my way right now. I don't know how long does it take for me to finish my next video, or any future breakdowns. Even still,
I won't let you